3 minutes ago, Eric Swalwell didn't do the normal Washington thing. He didn't respectfully yield. He didn't float a vague concern, and he didn't let Kash Patel hide behind process. He went straight at him. He slowed the question down like a prosecutor, not a politician, and he forced one name into the middle of the hearing where it couldn't be ignored. Watch until the end, because the moment Patel fires back, when he snaps and starts insulting Swalwell, everything changed in that moment. And before we start, subscribe and turn on notifications, because this story is just beginning. The setting mattered. This wasn't a podcast clip. This was Congress, cameras, oath, and record. It happened during a House Judiciary Committee hearing in Washington, D.C. on September 17, 2025, and Patel wasn't testifying for 10 minutes. It stretched into a roughly 5-hour hearing where the Epstein files kept detonating again and again. Patel walked in as FBI Director Kash Patel. That title is the armor. But the Epstein issue is the crack in it, because Patel didn't arrive as a neutral bureaucrat. He arrived with years of public statements behind him, statements that Democrats, on the record, used against him. That's when it happened. Janie Raskin came in hot, not with rumor, but with the central question. Why Patel went from transparency talk to lockdown mode. Raskin pressed him on why he hadn't released the names of Epstein's co-conspirators. Patel's answer wasn't apology. It was defiance. He insisted the FBI has released everything the court has allowed us. That line is crucial. It's the shield he keeps raising. And multiple Democrats treated it like a lie. Then everything changed. Because the hearing wasn't only Democrats attacking. Republican Rep. Thomas Massie was in the mix too. He challenged Patel on a claim Patel made the day before at a Senate judiciary appearance. Patel said there was no credible information Epstein trafficked women to anyone other than himself. Massie didn't let that breathe. He brought numbers into it. He cited alleged victims describing allegations against at least 20 men. Patel tried to pass the responsibility upward, saying it was the assessment of 3 separate U.S. attorneys across separate administrations. Now the room has a shape. Democrats think there's a cover-up. Some Republicans think there's a release problem. And Patel is boxed in between 2 different kinds of anger. Here's where it got explosive. Eric Swalwell didn't argue in paragraphs. He argued in yes or no traps. And he made it personal. Swalwell zeroed in on the central political grenade. Whether Patel told Attorney General Pam Bondi that Donald Trump's name appears in the Epstein files. Patel didn't answer. Not cleanly. Not once. Swalwell kept pushing, tightening the vice with repetition. And that's when Patel stopped sounding like an FBI director and started sounding like an internet fighter. He mocked Swalwell's speech pattern. Then he escalated. Why don't you try spelling it out if you're going to mock me? Use the alphabet. No? A B, C, D, E, F. Patel shot back. Source. That's not just rudeness. That's loss of control. And if you're thinking, okay, but did this really turn into shouting? Yes. CNN's clip of the exchange is literally framed around the insults flying, with Swalwell pressing the Trump name question and Patel refusing to give a direct answer. This needs to be seen. Hit like right now so the algorithm stops burying it. Because people need to see this. Because the real fight isn't the insult. The real fight is what the insult is covering. Swalwell's line was that Patel was hiding behind court excuses. Patel's line was that Democrats were making baseless accusations. And then Patel went for the throat. I'm going to borrow your terminology and call bull's tea on your entire career in Congress. It has been a disgrace to the American people, Patel said as Swalwell tried to reclaim his time. That's the viral moment. It's the line that turns a hearing into a street fight, and it's exactly why the exchange exploded online. But the hearing didn't stop there, because other members were waiting with their own detonators. Daniel Goldman hit Patel with the broad accusation. You're not releasing the full Epstein files. Patel went back to the same shield. As much as legally allowed. Goldman said the quiet part out loud. You are hiding the Epstein files. You are part of the cover-up. And here's the pressure point the hearing kept circling. Trump's name appearing in documents is not proof of wrongdoing. ABC News explicitly notes that Trump's name appears in the Epstein files, and that a name appearing is not an indication of wrongdoing. But politically, it's radioactive anyway, because it triggers the question everyone asks next. That's the trap. It's not, did he commit a crime? It's, what are you hiding? Then the hearing spilled outward, into documents, into visuals. ABC reports a birthday letter alleged to be from Trump to Epstein was displayed during the hearing while Raskin spoke. And the photo credit is right there. Annabelle Garden slash Reuters. That image is political napalm. Not because it proves a crime, because it forces a headline. And on the Democratic side, the official Judiciary Democrats press release didn't treat this as a routine oversight hearing. They framed it as a cover-up and listed what Republicans blocked immediately afterward. That's when the aftermath shockwave started, because it wasn't just yelling. It became procedural warfare. According to that press release, Democrats say Republicans blocked subpoenas tied to four major bank CEOs, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino, and the Bureau of Prisons. You don't have to agree with the framing to see the tactic. When the cameras stop, subpoenas are how you force paper out of locked drawers, and the public fight sets the justification. Now watch the political geometry. Patel says, courts limit release. Swalwell and others say, that's misdirection. And Democrats also cite that courts have encouraged release of files in DOJ/FBI custody, not blocked it. Nobody was prepared for this, because the conflict isn't a single question. It's two competing storylines colliding on live television. One side says law and process. The other says cover up and protection. Tell me what you think in the comments. Did Patel's insult-fueled blow-up make him look stronger or cornered? And the public reaction engine kicked in instantly. ABC describes the hearing as filled with explosive interactions and frames Patel's appearances as back-to-back, House on Wednesday, Senate Judiciary on Tuesday. So the timeline tightens. September 17, 2025 is the House hearing day. The day before was the Senate hearing that already turned into shouting with Democrats. This isn't going away. Because once something is said like that, once Trump's name in the Epstein files becomes a repeated question with a repeated refusal, it becomes a permanent clip. And permanent clips force permanent follow-ups. What happens next is predictable. More hearings, more subpoenas fights, more selective leaks, more, the courts won't let us, more, you're hiding it. And every time Patel refuses a direct yes or no, it feeds the same suspicion loop. That's not a legal conclusion. That's a political reality. Now share this with one person who still thinks hearings are just theater, because people need to see this. Because the single most important moment wasn't the profanity. It was the refusal. Swalwell didn't get the answer, but he got something else. The visual. A federal official under oath, dodging a question about whether he told the Attorney General something directly relevant to the president, and then snapping into a personal attack. That's what the public replays. That's what fuels the demand for documents. That's what makes the next hearing even hotter, because the hearing established three facts on the public record at once. 1. Epstein died in 2019, and the Maxwell case produced public material that's already out there. 2. Congress is still demanding additional FBI/DOJ material beyond court filings and transcripts. 3. Trump's name appears in the files, and that fact alone is now a repeated flashpoint. That combination is how you get escalation, not by guessing, by stacking confirmed friction points until the room ignites. And it did. This is the moment people will replay, not because it solved anything, because it exposed something. A director who can't stay calm, and lawmakers who won't stop forcing the question. Everything changed in that moment. Watch until the end of the next hearing too, because this story is just beginning. Subscribe, because the second subpoenas move, or get blocked again, you'll want it in real time. And drop your comment. Should Congress force full disclosure, or are the court limits the real wall here?